We've got
Those are
shunts,
my shunts.
and now
Pretty
we know
cool.
that because you wouldn't want to blow out the meters. Obviously, that's a concern. Anytime you over voltage, there are sensitivities within a meter, and that would be on the digital side or the analog side. You can obviously pop a fluke just like you can an analog if
Absolutely.
you're testing the wrong things. So totally makes sense there, and why you would use shunts. Are there any other use cases for shunts outside of the ammeter side of things?
There sure are actually. Most calibration entities, whether depending on what they're what they do. If you have a primary injection test set that it's used for testing breakers, or a secondary injection test set, and you want to calibrate it, shunts are one of the biggest things in the field known, because the thing is they never change, right? All this paint on here, yeah, it might make it harder for heat to get out, but it prevents corrosion, and that way the known resistance should never really change. This thing should be a known, like, what is it? I labeled it on here. It's a This one is 500 volts, or sorry, 500 amps at 75 millivolts. And I did the math. It's 150 micro ohms. So if you have if you have a primary injection test set, you put it on there. You say, give me 500 amps. You should meter 75 millivolts from here to here.
Right.
If you have a DLRO, a digital low resistance ohm meter, completely different test set, right? Now we're measuring, we're going from injecting current to measuring a very, very low resistance.
Right.
This is a very, very low resistance that should never change, right? So you can essentially do the exact same thing, but you have to realize that it's 75 millivolts from this point to this point. So your DLRO should only be hooked up from this point to this point. If you go from this point to this point, you're adding more material, which becomes a longer conductor, and your resistance will go up.
Makes sense. I like it.
So yeah, plenty of good uses for these things. And then, I like to use them when I'm building certain types of equipment, whatnot, to make meters and stuff. So there's a lot of good uses for them.